Hello there. Hi there, everybody. Thank you and welcome to my podcast. Today, I have the absolute joy to talk with Karis McLaughlin about dating. So we're having, I hope, a useful chat about the ins and outs of dating, what to do with dating, how to handle dating. Of course, this is a really big subject. And even if you have a partner or you don't have a partner, it can be quite a big thing, how to get dating going, how to have fun, and how to manage this while keeping your life in balance. So I hope this is a useful chat and podcast, and I hope to do more on dating, flirting, perhaps for different people or different age groups. And so wishing you all a lovely day wherever you are. Thanks.
So, Kate, we're going to talk about dating today.
Thank you, Karis. Thank you for doing this with me. That's really great. Yeah.
Yeah. So you support people with finding their way in the dating world.
Quite often, yes. And I kind of realised that although people may or may not be really, really fantastic at lots of areas of their lives, they may be really good at their job, they may be really good at being a parent, or they might be really good with their skills or gardening or crafting or whatever it is they do. Sometimes the area of dating can be intimidating and scary for people, and maybe bring up young parts like teenage parts or younger parts where they just felt really scared or terrified of liking people, and they can sometimes fold in or push too hard or close off, guard themselves, just think, I can't do this. Yeah.
So it can bring up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, if someone has actually never done dating before, like they've never been on a date.
Yeah.
They've never entered into that world, and they are interested in dating, they're interested in meeting people, maybe they're longing for a partner. Where should they start? What's your recommendation, or what's your guidance to people that just are literally starting from zero?
That's really, really lovely question, Karis. Thank you for saying that, because first of all, I would like to say you're not on your own. It's actually very normal, because what can happen is that some people hide that. So as time goes on, it can be really tricky to be vulnerable and open up and say, I don't know how to do this, or I'm scared of doing this, or I'm scared of the expectations that might come from it. I'm scared of sexuality, or I've been wounded, or someone else I know has been wounded, and I'm really scared to even try. And the first point I would like to suggest is to look at your own life and look at your life balance. Like, what I mean by that is how much fun you have in your own life, and start to date you, start to woo you. And if that feels really hard, if it feels okay, buy yourself a really nice notebook and pen. Take yourself to a cafe somewhere that feels nice, if that feels okay as well, and begin to explore what feels nice to you. Because you want to start opening the door to dating from having a sense of treating yourself nicely. And once you've started to explore what are things that you like, whether it's blue sky, blue glass, a blue dress, some velvet, whatever it is you like, I could be just talking about me, but what do you like? And start to put things that you like in your life. It starts to lift you up. And then, it could be that you want to go surfing. You feel like trying a comedy course. You want to see some comedy. Whatever you like, it's going to light you up, and then possibly bring you into meeting other people.
And I guess that does two things. It firstly makes you feel good about yourself, and so then you're more attractive to the world and
Yeah,
to other people. And then it also opens up the possibility of meeting other people that like the same things as you. If you're doing things that you love, then
exactly.
you will meet other people doing the same things, and you'll have something in common.
Exactly. It's a perfect recipe to go and do things like indoor wall climbing, learning Italian. I used to teach for an organization called Funzing, giving talks, and Funzing had talks like people like me giving flirting talks or the art of love and science talks, but what they also had was you could go and learn the ukulele in a brief lesson. Now that's a perfect flirting class because it's a one-off. I was in London at the time, and lots of people went for a kind of office outing, all to learn ukulele. So in my flirting class, I would say to my flirting people, go and try random and rare things like a drawing class. There's some really fun, like the circus drawing, or some really fun classes where they get people to dress up and you draw them, and people are laughing while you're drawing, or the ukulele class. So I went to the ukulele class as well, and I had like 4 women from my flirting class on the Monday, and they were at the ukulele class on the Thursday, and they all got dates and went out to dinner that night.
No
and they came
way.
up and yeah.
Who would have thought ukulele learning would be a great flirting
How do you make an E? How do you make an E? How do you do B? I mean, it's perfect. You can
brilliant.
literally engage someone and ask them how you do stuff. So now the blues guitar class was not the ideal flirting class, because that was for serious guitar, people who wanted to take guitar seriously. So flirting, dating, meeting is to do light and fun. Surfing is fantastic.
Playful activity. So what are some other examples?
Surfing,
ukulele, surfing, dancing, maybe.
Dancing's perfect, obviously, and there's so many. Salsa, bachata, 5 rhythms, ecstatic dance, biodanza, wonderful opportunities to practice going closer to people but not too close. Cuddle parties.
Parties. I'm wondering as well about like authentic relating evenings or games. These kind of connections.
There's lots of these things. Some people, and again, always find what's right for you, because for some people, they might, the idea of going circling and opening up absolutely everything to a group, it would be, for some people, no. So what I say is, find what suits you. And also, like, for some people it'll be a writer's talk at Waterstones. Now if you get yourself ready and in the zone, that can be, as you're sat there, really quite a nice place to say hello to the people next to you. And that's really kind of fun ways of meeting people and opening up. There's also, if you want places where it's held for single people to meet, there's meetings without masks, which is a day workshop. There's tantric speed dating, which is speed dating nights, but they're done with lots of exercises. So there's ways to kind of to help people engage. But I do think anything fun, light, if let's say you were you want to be where male identified people are, anything sporty.
Maybe rock climbing, something like that could be
indoor rock climbing, or rock climbing, or anything like that.
So basically get out to places where there are people, it's light, it's playful, and it's something that you might enjoy, and then you can just start relaxing and meeting people in a casual way.
I mean, it's brilliant. And that's stage 1. Now often sometimes people will go to all these things, but they'll just keep it at stage 1. They'll keep it at light and friendly, and that's fine too. But maybe
so what's stage 2 then?
Stage 1's kind of hello. Stage 2 is kind of, how are you? How are you doing? What are you feeling? A little bit more connecting. And so if you're going to your surfing event, or your meetup group, your photography meetup group, or your whatever you're doing, at some point you want to start to engage, it's quite nice to say, ask someone about what they're wearing or what they're doing. Like what do they do in their life that they like, you know, what are they engaged in? It's quite nice to do that. I know some people are like, oh, I don't want to talk about what I'm doing. That maybe they don't want to talk about their job, but maybe there's other things they do want to talk about doing. Like what are the things that light them up? Once you get people talking about what lights them up, then you're getting into more of a lovely presencing space. And that then can lead into more connection. And if you're getting into more connection, it might be that you then can say to someone, look, would you like to go for a cup of tea? Would you like to go for a walk? Would you like to go to a comedy night? Would you like to do something with me? If that
wow, that's quite a big step from just chatting to actually asking
it is a big step,
asking to meet up just one-on-one somewhere else.
It is a big step.
That's quite scary for some people.
You're so right. It's good I'm talking with you, Karis. You're so correct, because there are some more stages. So it might be that you go to that meetup group and you get to know people. But the thing is, what can be amazing, Karis, is people can go to these things, dance, meetup, even speed dating, and there is a connection. And sometimes people get shy when there is a connection. And so they somebody might like them, and they might even say, let's go somewhere. They go somewhere and they don't notice that person's flirting with them because they're not used to it. They're not used to receiving that. They're not used to noticing that. So that's okay too. You might have parts that have really protected you. It might be you were brought up religiously, or you might have had messages given to you, or you might not have felt noticed so much when you were a kid, so you're just not used to being noticed. But what I'd say is good flirts flirt all the time, meaning they're ready to connect. It doesn't mean it has to go anywhere. They're just friendly. And so what's good about being friendly, let's say you're going on your meetup or your dance group or comedy group, whatever you're going to, if you're getting practiced at being friendly to everyone, you can build it. Now, good point though, Karis.
Like building a muscle.
It's building a muscle. It's building a friendly muscle. Initially, you just want to think friendly. Even if you're going for a cup of tea, you just want to think friendly.
Yeah, but I like that, because otherwise I think it can get easy to put a lot of pressure on yourself, you know, like, oh, I have to say the right thing, and but that's nice just to think about just increasing your friendliness and open to connection in general, and taking the pressure of finding the one. Very good point. It's very important that you're not, because if we're looking for the one, they could literally come up stand right before us. We wouldn't see them because we'd be looking for the one. We have to relax to have a connection. It's like a pulsation in and out. Like it's like you could complimenting, appreciating, saying hello. This practice needs to continue even with getting to know people as friends. The bit which is important, and this may take stages, especially if you're brand new to this and you haven't dated, really letting yourself have some hobbies and some fun when you meet people. But the thing which is also important is that not to skip the sexual bit. I've seen it many times where someone does like someone, they've hung out, they're going to party, they're going to this, going to that, and then somebody likes them a bit more. And by the way, not that everyone has to have sex. Some people just want romance. That's fine. There's different people with different needs. Like there are people who are asexual and or poly, and they don't necessarily want to get very sexual. But what I'm saying is, if you wanted it to be romantic rather than just friendly, it's important to get in touch with that in yourself and get in touch with what messages are you emitting, because what can happen is people can just emit friend messages, and then you're just going to get friend vibes. Do you want to go further, deeper with this person? In which case you need to get in touch with your own sensual, if you want it to be sexual energy, you need to get in touch with these parts of you in order to
gently, no pressure, but in order to get in touch with your own sexuality. So that would be if you wanted a sexual relationship or something that was more romantic, more sensual, more sexual, I would suggest that part of the journey, as well as connecting with friendships, would be to develop your own sensual experiences. So is that bathing, saunas, swimming, what things get, smells, sounds, food, what is it that gets you in touch with your sensuality? Developing that. And your animal magnetism, moving your body, feeling that sense of your own sensuality in your body. Because sometimes you like that.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm hearing is that it all starts with you.
It really does.
Your relationship to yourself.
It really does.
Yourself, start having fun, doing things you like, connecting with your own sensuality.
It really does.
And then from that place.
Yeah. Because we get who we are. We receive who we are, what we're giving out. So if we're comfortable, let's say you've got your own pleasure practice. Let's say you like being sensual and sexual, and you've created pleasure practices for you, whether that's you go for a swim, or whether that's you've created a masturbation practice, or whether you've created your own bath or time when you listen to music or walking, whatever it is for you, and you're relaxed in that, it's going to be a lot. And also, if you can say yes and no to things, if somebody then flirts with you and starts to emit sensual vibes, it's not going to be foreign to you if you're giving that to you. But if you're not doing any of that for yourself and someone goes, oh, I think you're a bit special, you know, the amygdala, the alarm system in the body may go, hang on a second, even if you like them. I remember when I was really young, and I had judgments around people I thought were super attractive. I just had total judgments. I thought they wouldn't like me, and they would have their pick of anyone they wanted, and they would be having their fun with everybody. It's total judgment. There's nothing to say. It was like, if they were super attractive, this is my judgment, they wouldn't be people who would be very committed. And somehow I thought that the less super attractive would be much more committed, which is just absolute projection and judgment and ridiculous. And so if somebody I thought was super attractive asked me out, it'd be fine once we were having fun. But if they actually asked me out, the fear that would go through my system would be so enormous, because I'd think, oh, hang on a second. You know, I'm fine for just having a laugh with you, but, you know, I'd have this Cinderella thing. I think I turn into a pumpkin at midnight. I can't do funny the whole time. And no. So what I do, bless them, if anyone like I thought was on that level asked me out, I would say no, thinking, well, if they really like me, then they'll try again. Now, bless them.
You were like testing their how much they really wanted.
It was a mixture of absolute, complete terror, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, it's kind of protecting yourself.
It was like, I don't want to do this. But there was a little bark going, maybe they'll come back. And it's like, but secretly, I don't want to do this. And what it was I wasn't doing enough to honor all my sensuality and embodiment in order to let someone that there was a heightened experience around for me close. I'd go, oh, I could do friendly, I could do funny, but oh my God, you want to come closer? No. So this is why I think, like, then I learned a little bit more, make sure I'm doing saunas, massages, baths in order to date. I needed to make sure I was doing sensual stuff, or my protectors that were going to go, get out, was going to be too strong. So I started to do it. Yeah.
Nice. And you mentioned a few times this word parts that might come up.
Yeah, thank you.
And I'm wondering, for people that maybe don't know what you mean by that.
Oh, that's so good, Karis. Thank you very much.
I know
really
that comes from internal family systems.
Yes, it does, and it relates also to Jung's archetypes and many different systems that talk about parts, but yeah, internal family systems has very neatly devised a system where we can look at these parts. So, and there's a wonderful film called Schultz on Netflix, which is really worth watching, which is where Jonah Hill interviews his therapist, and the therapist names that, you know, we are bringing our teenage self with us wherever we go, no matter where we've got to, no matter how successful or not we are.
Yeah.
Our teenage self is in the room. So, you know, like with these people I thought were super attractive, like this could go for a while with me because I could just enjoy it on that level. But then if they wanted to go any further, there would be a part of me, and it would be that teenage self that was really shy and didn't feel good enough, didn't feel slim enough, whatever. That little teenage, I would think, oh my God, that person's going to come in. I can't go to the next day. If someone made it very explicit, they wanted to get naked and sexual with me, I couldn't do it. So if people were prepared to get to know me and take the time, I could do that. But I couldn't. Anyone made it, and especially if I thought they were super attractive, I would just go to that teenage girl who had big red hair, freckles, and yeah, and I just felt like gawky and geeky and didn't know what to do. And I'd be like, no. And it was so sad, you know, Karis, because I did get a number of people asking me out, but they made it clear what they were asking in not like, but kind of clearish. And I remember thinking, if you could say, can we meet for a few cups of tea? Can we like get to know each other? I could do this. But that, can we go there? I was like, just no.
Scary.
Too scary. And I think I think it is for a lot of people. Yeah.
So what if people are having, like, there's a part that feels shy, or there's a part that's scared of rejection, or doesn't want to get hurt again, or there's a part that feels like I'm just not good enough, I'm never going to be able to meet someone, like how can people work with those parts?
Well, I think it's so good. I mean, also, you know, some people are scared they're not going to get an erection. Some people are scared that they have they've got a vagina and they're scared they're going to have vaginismus. Let's just say people think they have to have sex, which a lot of people do, and I did when I was much younger. I thought, oh, someone's made it clear they want sex, I'm going to have to take all my clothes off and have sex. Whereas I wanted to have a process. I wanted to get to know, cups of tea, see if we like a kid. And probably they would have wanted that, but it's just like they made it, right, are you up for sex? And I'm like, I wanted to go say back to them, should we get to know each other? But I didn't have the words. And so what I did was just avoid. And I probably upset them, hurt them, because I'm sure some people they're complimenting you when they're saying that. But for me, I needed more stages. And that's what I'd say to other people, is because I've worked with lots of people and they think the same thing. When someone might seem like they might like them, they think they've got to go straight to bed, have an erection, or be lubricated, or be ready for intercourse, because that's often what society suggests, you know.
Or it's like, if I have a cup of tea with someone, then I have to have sex with them, and then we have to be in a relationship, and then we have to get married and stay with them for the rest of my life. And it's like, jumping down all of these conclusions where it could just be a cup of tea.
You got it, Karis. And so I wouldn't even do the tea. If I felt somebody, if there's any sniff of pressure in that tea, and I felt sad about it, because I thought, if I could have said to them, look, I'd like to get to know you, are you up for that? And that's what I'd say to the people I work with. I would say, look, can you get to know them? Can you get some fun? Can you have some cuddling and kissing? Could you do some fun things?
And I think this is so much about being able to communicate what you want and being able to say no. Because if you know that you can say no, then you can quite happily have a cup of tea. You can quite happily go around someone's house and have dinner. And you know that if you don't want to have sex with them, you can be like, hey, this is enough for this evening, and you can chill out and you can relax and you can have fun together. And there isn't that fear of one thing leading to another, or having to go down a certain route. Or if you can say, hey, I want I want to just get to know you for a few weeks, and being able to, for me, I think that's so important, being able to communicate around these desires and boundaries.
That's exactly it. And I think that exactly it, which is where the wonderful wheel of consent work comes in.
Yeah.
And all these practices around yes and no. And I even think, which they're amazing and they're super amazing and they help everybody. But I even think, and of course that probably is in it, but there's something also about the way we do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there are, I think maybe it's like learning a modality, like learning IFS or sensory motor or clean language or learning a therapy tool. One is you're learning the tool. So like learning the wheel of consent, learning, which is a tool around looking at our behaviors and relationships. What are we allowing, serving, taking? How are we saying yes and no? Is our yes what we mean? Is our no what we mean? And I do workshops with this as well. I always find it so important to really work with your yes and your no, and it can enlarge, can't it? And I think that's why discovering your own yes and no with your sensuality, your passions, your fun is so important, because then you can playfully say to someone, hey, yeah, I'd love a cup of tea and I'd love to do this. I'd love to, like kids would, kids who are well. But I think it's also the way we do it. And I used to notice when I was younger that I noticed certain married people were marvelous at flirting, absolutely marvelous, because they could skillfully engage and be sweet and be loving and relaxed. And I suppose they did not feel under any threat because they were making it clear that they felt safe. And I think this is and I think we can say no in a not safe way, and we can say yes in a not safe way, and we can say no and yes in ways that are more aligned. And I notice this in my friends who are in their 60s and 70s. There's a kind of embodiment and alignment in them, which is so sweet and so fun and so loving. It's like they've been through so much and they've just come to themselves, and they're having fun as themselves. And I think we can learn some of this. And I think what's amazing in the modern era is this is being talked about. How do you do this?
Yeah.
And I think also that it's being talked about to not feel pressurized to have sex. Having said that, there's the other side of the coin that people meet and they have all those hormones and
some people want to just have sex. Maybe they don't want a relationship. It's like there's so many different possibilities for dating, isn't there? And so many different options and desires and configurations, and they're all valid, isn't it?
They're all valid. And it's like, it's exactly that, because I think that, can you take the time to be with you and find out
what you
want? And I think that what's beautiful about the modern era is all these different choices are opening up and people are talking about them. And there's possibility of slowing down maybe, but not missing. And I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? How do you do that? And I suppose it's like learning to drive, isn't it? If you went really far, if you went from parked to fast, you might have a crash. But if you get yourself in gear, get yourself ready and get the car moving, do you see what I mean? So I think the whole thing is also about getting aligned, getting centered, finding out what you want, being able to communicate it, and landing in your own being.
Beautiful. And what do you think about online dating? Is that something you recommend to people?
The thing about it is that what I feel is that, and I really understand lots of people have got very tired of it, and lots of people have got really, it hasn't worked for them, and it's quite hard, this swiping and all this kind of stuff. And maybe feeling rejected, this kind of thing. It can be quite hard. But I just think that sometimes for some people, so you've got to check out what's right for you. For some people, you're actually directly saying, I'm ready to date. I am putting myself out there. And there's something powerful about that, saying, you know, and I know for some, now, different, Tinder is different to eHarmony. You write a whole profile for eHarmony. So, or The Guardian, I don't think The Guardian do it anymore, but I think Guardian do these dates. They set up dates for people, I think. But the Times Online do dating. You know, you got to kind of find out what's going to be right for you, what's going to work for you. But I always think what you're doing, a bit like that affirmation, what story do you want to tell, is there's something really powerful once you put yourself online. Now, but a lot of people would like to meet people in person, and there's a lot of in-person ways to meet.
Yeah. Okay. So both can work, but just different ways to meet people, right?
Yeah, I think because people get quite tired around dating, I always feel like put yourself on 2 sites and go out and do lots of random and rare things, but make sure you're keeping your own life. So when you're doing online dating, try and stick to just half an hour a day of looking at stuff and be boundaried.
Okay. So no hours of scrolling, swiping on the
if you can Tinder. try and keep it limited. Otherwise it is tiring and takes over your life. And then dating, try and keep it to an hour and a quarter, hour and a half, so that you keep your own life and you don't overbond. Overbonding means that one person gets way keener than the other,
right,
in early dating, and you want to keep it so you ideally date quite a few people for short dates.
Okay, so it's dating several people at the same time.
Definitely.
Yeah, if
you can,
even definitely. If you want, or especially if you want if you're someone that wants a monogamous committed relationship,
definitely
recommend dating several people.
Definitely.
Until what point? Until you know that you want to be with one person and then you choose them? Or
I mean, if you're getting very physically involved, you might want to be open about that because of health and emotional health and physical health. You might want to be open about what you're doing, but you can keep dates. It's a very good idea to keep dates. Like, some people overbond too quick.
Okay, and do you recommend that people then, if they are dating different people, that they say to the person they're dating, I'm dating other people, or should people be open about that?
Openness is always really good. Again, it's all about the timing and the space. Like on your first date, if you're online dating, I think most people would expect you to be dating other people, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So I think, for the first few dates, I think that would be expected. Is if you're starting to get very, very involved with one person.
Once maybe you start to go deeper, then
maybe it's a discussion and maybe it's worth thinking about. But some people, I've worked with lots of people. Some people bond in the first 2 seconds, and some people take 6 months.
Okay.
So by keeping it light, you allow for that process to happen when some people's systems are slower than others. Do you see what I mean? So I know, because I've worked with, let's say, a man, and 6 months in, he's like, oh, she's gone. Where's she gone? And I'm like, because she was really keen. You've only just got keen. It was just a mismatch in timing, so. Yeah.
Okay, so keep dates at first dates short, you say?
Definitely.
And do you say, I've just got, I've just got an hour,
really clear,
let people know up front.
Really like to meet you. So a lot about flirting and dating is about real generosity and sweetness. And I think people think, oh, this person should be doing this. This person doesn't have to do anything for you. They don't owe you anything. Even if you're married to them, they don't owe you any. Nobody owes us anything. But especially if you treat dating like this is just a person, because I think people think, oh, I can't do this because what do they think that they might not see you again after 3 days. You don't know anything. So if you keep it short,
Yeah.
You've just got a chance to just do sweet and short and find out.
Yeah.
And then if you enjoy them, see them again.
Okay.
And if you enjoy it, see it again. And if you enjoy the date, sorry, Karis, yeah?
Yeah, no, go on.
If you enjoy the date, I would suggest on the date saying, oh, it'd be lovely to do this again. And, you know, love to see you again. I like to do this or this. Or no, hint, because we've all got sweet little hearts, all of us, and we're all tender. So a lot of people I've met who've said, oh, I didn't hear from them again. I said, did you let them know you like them? Well, no, shouldn't they know? No. Just because you enjoyed yourself does not mean they knew you would like to see them again.
So let them know, be clear, give the signals that you're enjoying yourself, say
give
that
the
you'd
signals
like to meet again, make suggestions about what you like doing,
so it's really nice, I think, to not worry about the dating thing. And so when you're on a date, suggest you'd like another date. Even you don't have to like them the most, but just kind of like keeping that flow. So you're not worrying all week, oh God, should I keep all my weekend free? Who wants to worry about that?
And what is a good date if you're meeting up one-on-one with someone?
Cup of tea,
classic cup of tea.
Cup of tea, drink. Daytime is good, because what you don't want to do, obviously everyone must do what's right for them, but this is just me from my world, is you don't want to go straight to dinner. I mean, I've worked with so many people who went for the drink, then they went for a 4-hour dinner, and then they didn't like them. It's not because the person wasn't likable. It's too long a date. You know,
save dinner for like a few dates in.
Yeah. You've overbonded, and then unfortunately sometimes one person gets really keen and starts to really message the other one, and they're like, what happened? And I'm like, you spent 4 hours with them. They think it's now you're both on for each other. So that's the other thing, keeps everyone safe. Short dating keeps everyone safe because you're just finding out.
And how important is, like, you know, the physical attraction, the physical chemistry, like it, you know, if that's not there, you don't go on another date with them? Or if it's like, do you know
what's funny,
what are you looking, what's a good
really good point? If you like them, again, always do what's right for you, but if you like them, see them again. But chemistry is important. But you know what's funny, I have come across so many people who thought, oh no, not that person, but they kept them as a friend, and then later on married them.
Really? That's
so many, because they got to know them. Wasn't that they weren't attractive, but it just, that initial wasn't, maybe for whatever reason, but they got to know them and they kept them as a friend. I know this sounds funny, but I've met quite a few people like this, and
attraction grew.
It grew. So obviously, if you think no, you know, always follow your thing, but give things a chance. It's amazing what emerges, and sometimes we're given this impression that we've got to judge everything immediately.
So stay open.
Now, chemistry is important. It does help if there is chemistry, but surprising things can happen. So what we say in this job, my job, is, did you enjoy the date? If you did, try another one. You don't have to marry them.
It's so simple, isn't it? Did you enjoy it or not?
That's all. That's all.
That's all you need to know.
Also, only text niceties and arrangements. None of this texting a million things. Chat to your friends. Chat to your friends.
Why? So why is that?
Because what happens is, and again, it might be different for other people, but early dating, this is early dating. I've had a lot of people who've virtually had a whole relationship and split up.
Just by a text.
Just by the text. It's like, you know, so, you know, to me, just get to know them. Just get to know them in a nice environment. I
wonder if that's like a sign of the you know, the times as well, like the younger generations are so much more on their mobiles and texting than,
that's right.
like that's becoming more and more kind of normal.
It is.
And not necessarily a good thing. I mean, you know, but yeah, I hear that the in-person connection is important. And
when we're in person,
yeah,
we get so much more and different information than text or phone. And what I've come across, a lot of people who try and do all the important chats on the text, and it goes wrong because you can't read intonation, you can't understand what's going on.
Can you? There's so much is lost,
and they can take it all wrong.
Yeah,
and the whole thing's gone.
I know. There's the stories that you can make about text and what's there or what's not there, or how many kisses, or you know, like these kind of things.
All of
like
that,
agonizing over, or how long it takes for someone to respond.
All of that. And so, although that's really tough, my advice would be, that's why date a few, have a lot of fun, see your friends, do a lot of fun things for you.
Yeah. Nice.
So thank you so much, Karis.
Thank you, Kate, for sharing your wisdom on dating. There are so many amazing nuggets there for people to take away and to get more confident and more playful and light-hearted with dating. I think that is such an important message. So thank you again.
Hello there, and this is Kate again. So I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope that there's some pieces that might be useful for you, and that you are encouraged, if you feel like it, to date in the way that's right for you. There's so much information out there, and I'm hoping to do some more podcasts to share information about flirting, dating, connecting, opening up to love and fun and joy. So wishing you so much love, so much joy, and hoping you have a lovely day or evening wherever you are.